In case you didn't know, we are recording in progress. So all of our sessions are recorded. They will be recorded. I'll show you where to go back and watch them. So you can go back and take a look at that. That won't be a problem for you guys. I guarantee you at some point today and every day this week, somebody's going to ask, and you may hear me shout out the word bingo because I'll win, right? Because somebody's going to ask, is it recorded and where can I watch it? I kid you not, it happens every time. So for those of you that haven't met me before, my name is David Donaldson. I am the regional technology trainer, director, coach, whatever. I'm a realtor. I have been a realtor for 14 years. God, 15 years now. Getting old. Got my license in 2007. You want to talk about an educational experience? Try getting your license in a market where everything is crashing down around you. Are we in a shifting market now? Absolutely. A little bit different. But if you're representing buyers right now, how easy is that? It's an education, right? So my first transaction in 07 was like almost $800,000. At the end of 07, my last transaction was $200,000. In 8 and 9, my first real full year in business, did 27 transactions, which was good for second year, right? For a total sum volume of $2.7 million. Do the math there. That's a lot of work for not a whole lot of commission. Okay. That's how bad the market. Now, I was not here. I was not in Northern Virginia. I was in Arizona. I literally was at where the bottom of the market fell down around our heads, right? Florida, LA, Arizona, Nevada, parts of California. What you saw in the news was what I was dealing with on an everyday drive down the street of established neighborhoods, let alone new neighborhoods, where there were 15, 20 signs in every yard, right? The market was foreclosures and short sales. That's all it was. And it was terrifying for a lot of people. But I survived, as did many others that you'll see around the KW ecosystem. A lot of us came from that area because we adapted and changed, and we learned how to leverage our time through utilization of technology. I will kid you not that I remember either 08 or 09, I was running around my office in the month of June, and I had 10 closings that month. Until you've experienced multiple closings a month, you understand how chaotic that can be. But I was doing it all with paper and folders. So I would run around with like a stack of folders with no VA, no digital document storage, right? No CRM, right? The only thing I had was what we called Flex MLS, and everything was up here, or on sticky notes, or on tablets, or on my desk, right? Or on my calendar. We didn't really have Google calendars back then, right? I still had to run around with it. That was not even 15 years ago, right? And I had to do all that. But through that came a lot of change in our industry, right? The people that did a lot of print, that was the first thing we called print advertising, all that major expense that was happening and going on, the way we did business, you either adapt, change to survive, or you didn't. Now, different areas around the country experience things differently. Now, I'm going to pause here real quick because here's what I'm looking at on my screen right now. I see 4 faces. I see Chantel, Vicky, Angelo, and I'm gonna apologize. Jorma. I'm going to pronounce that.
I'm listening, but I'm currently getting ready for work and I have to drive and take my dogs out, but I'm listening.
I appreciate that. I asked for this when you guys are with me, okay? 2 hours, face-to-face time. I understand some people got to be on the move, and I'm cool with that. I am an instructor. I'm a trainer. I'm a realtor, just like you guys. This Zoom world is incredibly convenient and incredibly challenging at the same time. I can't connect with you. I can't be face-to-face with you, right? I want to see your smiling faces. I want to read your eyes. I want to see how you're engaging. I want to be able to call on you because, honestly, I'll call on you whether I see you or not, and I don't want to catch you off guard. Those of you who've been on my classes before, know that I'm not kidding, right? I see some faces, right? I see some of you that I've seen before. You know how I roll. Shelly, right? Tell them. I call on Shelly all the time because she loves it. And she's one of my instructors, right? I like to have fun. I like to engage. I like to joke. And that lets me know that you guys are all with me. So thank you for all of you that have joined. have come that are able to turn on your cameras. I understand that. But I'm asking for a week's worth of your time, right? Monday through Friday this week between 9 and 11, you're going to meet me and my esteemed colleagues, what I call my marketing and tech trainers, that we're going to share with you a breadth of knowledge around technology. I was saying I came from Arizona. I got here to Northern Virginia. I should say I came back to Northern Virginia in 2012 after my sojourn of 14 years in wandering the desert. And when I came here was I realized that the people that were in the business here, while there was a shifting market that they went through, it was quite laughable compared to what I had been through. And people were still doing a lot of things the old school way. They were slow to change here in Northern Virginia because the business, the cost of doing business, or the commission or price point was much higher, and people were not as dramatically affected as those in other parts of the country. So I still saw a lot of old school ways of doing business that slowly took time to change. I became a go-to person in my market center. I was in the McLean and Great Falls Market Center back in 2012, and I did not have a spiel. I was building a business from scratch again. I literally knew the sum total of like 3 people that were still here from what I lived through previously. And so I threw myself into the tools now that KW had provided us. At the time, it was something called E-Edge, or Market Leader, if you've been with us a little bit while, which was a CRM tool, website, marketing materials, which were fantastic. But a lot of people didn't know how to use it. So people came to me. I became an instructor. Became at the time what they called an ambassador. I say volunteered my time. And I remember this is a pivotal moment for me in my career as an instructor, was that somebody raised their hand in one of my classes saying, hey, what if we just paid you to do this? Set up their CRM tools, set up their Facebook business pages, set up their website, help them do marketing campaigns. And what would that look like? And I honestly had never thought about it before. So I just blurted out a number, and the number wasn't high enough because I ended up with a line outside my door. So be careful what people ask and how you answer. Always be prepared to answer a question. And that started it for me. I went through a thing in my career where I was selling, raising a family. For me, I had some changes going on in my life that needed me to have more of a 9-to-5 job. So the consulting and coaching and training allowed me to pivot in our industry and stay in real estate and work with realtors. And I became an instructor. I became an instructor in Falls Church. I ran a little consulting company that I had. And then in 2019, at the end of 18, I was volunteering for the region. KW rolled out a new role called the Regional Tech Trainer, and I was asked to fill that role. So that's how I became in front of you guys today. So literally got hired on March 1st of 19, and then 2 weeks later, the economy shut down and crashed. Okay, so that was a good time, right? So I thought I was going to lose my job as quickly as I got hired, but I learned to work with you guys remotely. Now we're going out in the field again, which is exciting, but you never know what's coming your way. So I've now had 2 jobs inside or 2 different KW as a realtor, a local instructor, a consultant, and now working for the as a whole of jobs that didn't exist before. So you never know what's going to come your way. And there's an incredible opportunity in our world as realtors to do more than just selling real estate should you choose to do so, right? Coaches, instructors, right? Secondary incomes, passive income, investors, trainers, mentors, all kinds of things can come your way if you open up your mind to it. And I wasn't even looking for these opportunities. So just imagine if I was actually looking for something. So now you never know what's going to happen. All right, so that's me. I'm David Donaldson. So I'm glad that you're all here. I am local. I live here in Ashburn. So at some point in time, if you haven't met me face to face, you will. So I'm starting to get out in the field again. So thank you all for joining me here today. So I'm going to start going through some things today. Some of it you may have heard before. That's okay. Some of it may be brand new to you. That's okay too. Right? If you take something, you learn something, then I feel like I've done my job. Are you going to learn everything there is to learn today, tomorrow, and this week? No. You have to give yourself. That I meet.
Hey, hi, Daddy.
Good morning, my baby.
Good morning. There are people I meet all the time that overwhelm themselves. And some of you are on that call today, and you think you got to get everything done today to be successful. You have one job. Your job, your profession right now is lead generation. It's not website creation. It's not marketing. It's not advertising. There are components of what you do in your day-to-day lives. Your job is to grow, right? You are to grow as business owners and to lead generate to build your business. Now, there's a reason I call it your business. A lot of you don't realize this or understand this, and I don't want you to be scared off, okay? But first, I want to congratulate you because you are all individual business owners. Let's sink in for a second. You guys all realize that? You realize you're an individual business owner now? You don't work for KW. You don't work for your market center. You work for yourself. So that can be both freeing, inspirational, or scary as hell, right? Because the only person that's responsible for getting you a paycheck is you. You may be on teams, okay? There's leverage there, but you're a business builder for yourself. Now, there are some people that are hearing this, maybe you, and that's okay too, that this may be secondary income to something else, or you may be transitioning from another business, or maybe you might not plan on transitioning from another business at another time. That's fine. Nonetheless, this is a business. So treat it as such. Feed the business, build the business, grow yourself, read, educate yourself, learn your tools, create self-mastery in your world for everything that you can do. You'll be surprised at where that takes you. All right. So today and this week, we're going to teach you about leverage, technology. Technology is not a silver bullet. Okay. Advertising is not a silver bullet. It's a tool. It's something that will make your life easier, allow you to do more, communicate effectively, professionally, deliberately. It is not going to be a windfall of business because you have a website. Okay, you're going to run a Facebook ad. You're not going to have a windfall of business because you run advertising. Those are all misnomers. Okay, it's lead generation, it's follow-up, it's systems, it's tools, it's being a professional. And some of you may have immediate success because some of us just get lucky. And some of you won't experience it for 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months, but it will come. I assure you, it will come if you deliberately do as you learn. Leverage that little red book that's called the Red Book. I'm looking for mine on my desk. I'm not sure what's at the moment. Here it is. Always keep it with me. The Red Book. Does everybody have one of these? If you do not have one of these, I want you to immediately go see your team leader and say, David Donaldson, the regional technology director, told me that I need to have one of these books. Now, they're not going to give you one of these nice spiral bound books. They're going to give you a bound one. That's okay too. All right. You tell them you want the book, right? Because you're going to build your business. And I don't care if you're intent on building a 7th level team. I never was. But however, depending on what level of business you're growing to grow your business, the tools that you use, the systems that you use are going to come from the guy who literally wrote the book. And I don't care what company you're with, every successful realtor in the world has read this book. That's all I'm going to kind of go with that. Right? He literally wrote the book. Okay. Leverage and tools and systems. So today we're going to talk about setups. We're going to get you into the platform. We're going to talk about things that just are one-off things that some of you may have to do, may have done. And then as the week goes on, we're going to talk to you about command and the platforms and the tools that are inside of it that will make your lives easier. Okay. Again, I want you to give yourself time. Does that sound good for everybody? Do you believe me when I tell you that I'm passionate about what I do? I've done this conversation more times than I can count, and I guarantee you that if you watched every single one of the ones that I've given, my level of passion is this level or higher every single time. And my stories are always a little bit different because I'm still in the business. I meet new people every day, and it changes my presentation daily about how I do things and how I look at things. And that's how I want you to be, right? We're never finished. We're always growing. And we're always changing. Okay, there is no right or wrong in real estate. It's just moving forward. All right. So I'm going to go back to my screen here. And what I want you guys all to do is understand, I'm going to give you some bookmarks. I'm going to give you some pages. You're going to get access, the things you guys are going to need. At the end of each session, I'm going to give you guys your action steps. It's up to you whether you do them or not, right? I'm not your teacher. You don't work for me. But how fast you build your business is some of the important things that I'm going to share with you as we go through our week. All right. So as I share my screen, if I can all just get y'all let me know that you're seeing my screen here. If you guys know how to use digital thumbs, you know, Zoom is your friend. You've been doing this for a year now. At the bottom of the screen, there's a thing called reactions. You can use thumbs up. You can raise your hands, pop chat up. Now, if you're on a single screen, keep things minimized. My picture will block things. I got a big head. Chat can kind of take up some space. Use chat. Chat your friend. I've got people on this call with us that are called Market Center Tech Trainers. We're going to talk about them in a minute. They're the most important person in your world right now. Okay, in your Market Center, a Market Center Tech Trainer is the most important person in your world. So if you don't know who they are, I'm about to find out and introduce you to some of them. And I want you to make sure that you know who they are, find them and introduce yourself to them in your Market Center, okay? But use chat, and if you have a question, they'll answer them or I'll answer them or I'll come back to them. If you have a burning desire, raise your hand on your screen. I will do my best to get to you and either answer that question now or at some point during today. All right, moving on. I am recording. Camera's on. We covered that. So when I'm looking at Amanda, Daphne, Katie, Benito, Katie, Morgan, Nasu, and Alex, I'm still looking for you guys to turn your cameras on. So I think we just covered the journey. Part of that journey and the big why is, why did KW build their own systems? You guys asked yourselves that before? Why does KW have their own platform when no other real estate company does? They all have off-the-shelf bolt-on technology. They bought from somebody else. I'm glad you asked that question. The reason that we have is to protect you.
Hey,
Protect
Dave.
you. Yeah.
You're sharing your Slack screen. Is that what you're meaning to be on?
I'm not. Thank you. See, I get on a roll and I share wrong things sometimes. Should be sharing screen too. Let's try that again. Tech happens, right? Are you guys seeing the slides now?
Yes.
Should say KW Tech. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
The big why. Why did Gary do this? Right? Gary has spent millions, right? Millions developing technology. Why not just go buy something? Why not just go buy a company? Well, he has. I mentioned earlier that we had a company called Market Leader in EH Technology that we have rolled that out in 2010. They were our business partners. They were subsequently bought by a company called Zillow. Maybe you've heard of them. Right? Realtors funded that company. They funded that company to try to put us out of business. They don't realize it, but that's exactly what they were doing. But they were selling their leads back to us, right? Because agents are always looking for the silver bullet. I'll tell you, somebody told me one time, if you're looking to make money in real estate, create something to sell to a realtor. Think about that for a second. Don't go sell real estate, but create something to go sell to a realtor. Right, Ruth? Now, see, this is what I do to see if people are paying attention. And there's a lot of truth to that statement, okay? Now, at the time, Zillow was saying, we're just here to help. We're here to help John Q. Public. We're here to help the realtors. And that was 2010, 11, 12. Then they bought a company called .loop. Well, what was .loop to us? .loop was our precursor to DocuSign. It was our document digital storage contract library e-signature platform. So now, twice in less than 10 years, Zillow has bought strategically companies that harvested and held all the data of KW's agents. You think that was an accident? No. They had one thing in mind. Take over the real estate industry, right? Those you haven't been in the business long or haven't been, they had this thing called Zestimates, right? This is what your home is worth. And I always love that when people, well, Zillow says my house is worth $1.5 million. Great. Now, I used to be able to get away with saying this. In Virginia, I still can. When was the last time a Zillow agent came to your house? What do you mean? Do they do that? No, they don't do that. They have an algorithm that's trying to make up information. Did you guys realize they had an iBuyer program that when they started buying properties this year was so broken that they had to shut down their iBuyer program? Think about that for a second, okay? Educate yourself. So Gary decided we're no longer going to allow ourselves to be victims and be under attack, because that's what they were doing to put us out of business. So he's building his own platform for you. You can be on the beach drinking pina coladas with Jimmy Buffett. 100% he can be done. Okay. He cares about the industry, cares about the agent. And I will tell you, I've met a lot of you. He cares about your businesses. And for a lot of you, he cares about it more than you do yourself. So think of this as an awakening for you. That's why I say this is your business. How much you care matters. How much you're willing to put into it matters. That will determine your level of success. Gary, KWRI, and the leadership will give you the tools to be successful. You have to motivate yourself. All right, so that's understanding the journey and the big why. Any questions on any of that? Was that an awakening for some of you? You all knew all that? Okay. All right, so now let's move on. So I told you that I would introduce you to some people. There's a list of what we call your market center tech trainers. So I am one in a market center at Falls Church, and I also kind of oversee the regionals program. Each and just about every market center, we're working on filling some of them now, has a market center tech trainer. Kingstown and actually Roanoke now has somebody, so I have to back that they're bringing somebody on board that I'm working with right now. This is your person, right? Y'all need a person in your life. This is your person. Might be a PC coach, might be a market center tech trainer. You should have both. If you're new, this is your person. What you see is the market center name that you're in, market center number. If you don't know what that is, we use our market center numbers, right? That was in the order that KW launched market center. So the lower the number, the longer that market center has been in the KW ecosystem, right? We're now in the 1100s, right? We have 853 market centers. I'm probably off, plus or minus, that are still available, but every new market center gets a new number. So our lowest number one is Manassas. Anybody here from Manassas? 29. Market center 29. There you go, Daniel. You're with Lee, the OG down there, right? She's awesome people. So that's how this works. These are your people. So make note of that, okay? If you haven't met them yet, you will. They don't reach out to you, reach out to them, because they know it. I'm driving them your way. Driving you their way, I should say. All right, so we're going to jump into some things here. Everything I go over today, I'm going to send you the slide deck. So don't panic. Some of you are going to want to take pictures. That's fine. Bookmark these links. That's okay. I'm going to send you an email at the end of today with this information, okay? I promise you that. So you'll get an email from an assistant of mine called Benito. It's one of my rock star virtual assistant. And so he'll send you an email. It'll either come from him or me with this data. So you can go back and look at the videos and go back to the links and everything that you need. But part of what you need to do is this is a workshop. So I'll give you guys time to log in. So what I want you all to do right now on your computers is log into mykw.kw.com. Okay, use your KW user ID and password that you all have. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through. So this is our old tech. We're migrating from here, but there's still some things on here that if you're brand spanking new, that you should be well aware of. There's some things that we still utilize. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my screen here real quick and log into my KW. All right, so MyKW was a platform that we rolled out in 2010. So there's still some things that we use on here a little bit as we slowly migrate everything over to the command platform. It's going to open for me today. Sometimes I'll get an error and just hit refresh and there we go. I'm in. So this is mykw.kw.com. All right. So first thing I want to show you is on the upper left-hand side, your name, maybe or maybe not your picture, depending if you load it, but there's a profile button. I want you all to click on that profile button. Okay. Everybody here, mykw.kw.com. Click on profile. Okay. You'll see your face. You'll see your market center. You'll see a bunch of boxes. Here's the great thing about the technology that we use. It's not complicated. We're not looking for programmers, right? You guys don't need to know HTML code. You just got to be able to, like if y'all took typing or business 101 in high school, do they still have that? I don't know. They actually had typewriters when I was in high school before they brought in the Macs. That's how old I am, right? It's still in the box here, guys. So we're not going to overcomplicate you with a lot of things. Most of the things will be fill in the blank as we progress forward. Okay. So you're just going to work your way through here. I'll highlight a couple of important factors for you, but you can come back to this and fill in the blanks, right? Name, email address, phone number, business address. Please always, 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 always put your market center's business address into things online. Even if you work remotely, Amy's laughing at me. Even if you work remotely, put your business address, because the last thing you want is accidentally having your business address listed as your home address, okay? And people showing up at your house to meet you for a meeting. It has happened, accidentally happened. I don't want that to happen to you. So always put your business address, your market center address on anything online. Sound good? All right. Phone number, email address, right? Got all that. Bios. Most of you might not have one now, but I'm going to talk about bios for a second. As we build our platform, your platform, we're going to talk about two different types of bios for you. There's an outward-facing marketing bio, and then there's an inward-facing referral bio. Now, if you're brand new, it's probably going to be one and the same. The longer you're in the business, they will start to diverge. Okay, and here's why. In the beginning, you don't have a foundation of selling anything, and that's okay. Here's the great equalizer in real estate. Every single realtor, every single one that you know that's successful started the exact same place as you did. You know what that? How many transactions that is? Thank you. 0. They all sold 0. Okay. Now, some of them may have walked into a business. Okay, sure, we understand that. Parents, friends, family, but they'll start with 0 transactions. You guys can be as successful as you want to be. Okay. So don't let that be paralyzing. What people are looking for in a bio is not necessarily your success in real estate. They're looking for a reason to connect with you. Tell that story. Where did you come from? What did you do? What are your hobbies? They're looking for a reason to connect with you. What do you have in common? Where did you go to school? Where did you grow up? What company do you work for? Do you have a PhD? Do you have a doctorate? Are you your mom? Are you your dad? Right? Do you raise your kids? You're a coach. Like a lot of those things, right? I'm a hockey dad. I'm a soccer coach. Father of 2 boys. I've lived in multiple places. From Philadelphia, lived in Arizona. I went to college out near Pittsburgh. I've lived in Virginia twice, right? There's a story there. People are looking to connect with you. That's what you want in your bio, okay? So don't let that limiting fear of belief of not having done transactions yet stop you from being successful. Now, there is a place for a referral bio, right? The longer you're with KW, the more you're going to do things. You might be on your ALC. You might become an instructor. You might go to Bold. You might go to Ignite. You might go to Family Reunion. You might go to Mega Camp. Those are all great things that other realtors in our ecosystem will look for you to have done to refer you business. Okay. They'll also look at your transactional history when you have one. But that's not a reason somebody's going to not send you business. But all those things I just mentioned, the general public has no idea what any of that means. Right? They don't know what the Y4C2 means, right? They don't know what Ignite is, they don't know what Bold is, they don't know what an ALC is, nor do they care. So that's why we have 2 different platforms. We have a referral network and we have a marketing profile. So when you're ready, you'll have both. Sound good? Awesome. So you'll fill out the rest of this information here. A couple things you want to know besides your bio. Display URL. Just put your name here. Everybody sees that. Just write your name. David Donaldson. Right? Shelly Gregory, Gina Solano, right? Just put your name right in here. All right, specialties, right? You can click on here. Do you work with investors, first-time home buyers, relocation, second homes, luxury homes? What do you do? Military, right? Step-down homes, 55 and older, a lot of new home construction. It's a lot of specialties. You can't do them all, can't master them all. Who are you working with? Put your social media connections in here when you have them, if you have them, right? You're going to want a Facebook business page first and foremost. We're not going to teach you how to build that in this class, but your Mark Center Tech Trainer can help you with that if you need one, okay? At the bottom, you're going to have a password recovery email, right? That should be your generic Gmail email. And then your day-to-day business email, which should be your KW email, unless you're on a team or you run your own business, right? Who has a Gmail email? Everybody, probably at this point, right? Do some of you still have AOL? My dad has AOL. I laugh at him all the time. He still uses an AOL email. Hotmail, Livewire, at me, right? Free email, right? It's okay to have those. What's not okay is to use them as a professional realtor, right? If I get an email from somebody that says, hey, world's #1 realtor at gmail.com, don't take it personally, but that's not very professional, okay? So I want you to wrap your mind around that. And at a minimum, I want you to use your KW provided email. I'm going to show you where that is right now. If you don't know where it is, everybody has one, okay? And I want you to use it. There are 3 tiers to an email for you guys from marketing standpoint. There's the Gmail free mail that we just talked about. Don't use those. Please don't use those. I cringe every time I get an email from a realtor that's got some vanity customized. I just don't like it. Sorry. Your name at kw.com. If you are a solo realtor, that's what you should use. If you're on a team, then it might be David at revolutionre.net. It was my team when I was running, right? If you're on a team, right, then you might have one from your team. That's okay. You cannot be a solo agent and advertise yourself as a team. I can't be David at Donaldson Sells or DonaldsonHomes.com if I'm not a team. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you have to be a registered business to advertise yourself as a team. And a team means +1. At a minimum, you have to have administrative support. Then you have to file that as an LLC. That LLC has to be on file with your brokerage. Your brokerage has to sign off on paperwork. That paperwork has to be sent to Richmond. It has to be added to your license. This is not that class, but I like to highlight that. You cannot advertise yourself anything other than who you are on your license. David Donaldson Realty. Okay? So just think about that for a second. If you're advertising yourself anything other than your name or your name realtor, you could find yourself getting fined. I don't want that to happen to you. I've seen it happen to people. Talk to your broker. If you're going to build a business, that's awesome. I encourage you to do so. Talk to your broker. They'll set you right on the path. Okay. Any questions on this profile before we move on? Straightforward, fill in the blanks, right? Awesome. Moving on. So also on this page, I'm going to show you where your email lives. Now, the KW email is nothing more than Gmail. So I just made fun of Gmail, or made fun of people that are using Gmail, but KW uses Gmail. However, it is a branded Gmail. So when you log in your KW email, you just go to gmail.com. You're logging in with your KW email address and password. That's fine. That's all it is. But let me show you where that's at if you don't know how to access it or log in the first time. If you hover over the word technology and scroll down, you'll see the words KW email. Does everybody see that? Hover over tech. Don't click it. It will redirect you. Hover over tech. Scroll down to KW email. And you're either A, going to sign up, or B, manage your KW email. At this point, most market centers that I'm aware of are taking care of setting up your emails for you. Right? When you join, they should have asked you, do you want your name? Do you want a dot in your name? Do you, your first initial, last name? Depending on what's available, they would have assigned you an email address. So you'll see your email right here, right? David Donaldson at KW.com. That's my email. Write it down. If you need to email me, email me. Now, I will tell you, if you have challenges, please reach out to your Mark Center Tech Trainer first. but I'll always respond if I can give you guys guidance or support. Okay, you can reset your passwords here. Okay, and then you'll see your recovery email here at the bottom. Some chance you ever get locked out of anything. That I do want to be your alternate Gmail spam mail that you guys use on your day-to-day. And then honestly, from there, when you log in your email, you're just going to go to Gmail, right? You'll go to your Gmail, you'll log in, it'll ask you for your email, which would be daviddonaldson@kw.com, plus whatever your password is, and you'll go in your email. Okay, there it is. That's my KW email. So just so you know, when I log in every day, I do have a Gmail. That's my catch-all, right? I say three. I've got a free mail, I've got my business email address, and then I have my KW email address that I run everything through from an instructor standpoint. So I have 3 email platforms. I don't commingle them because I like to look at them differently. Some people mix them all together. That's completely fine too. Your Market Center Tech Trainer, if you need to forward emails, right? If you've been using that Gmail for your day-to-day and you need to move that to kw.com, they can help you forward that information, take care of all that. I can't dive into that here. Your Market Center Tech Trainer can help you with those things as you transition. I think at the most, everybody's pretty comfortable with Gmail at this point, but always go to your Market Center Tech Trainer for additional guidance. Now, one other thing I want to show you that some market centers still use underneath mykw.kw.com is what we call the intranet. Okay, so at the bottom of your page, you're going to see a KWMC number intranet. A lot of the market centers will post training calendars here. And there's some value in knowing what's going on in your market center, right? So you'll see this little calendar if your market center uses it right here. So you should get in the habit of going there and seeing what's going on in your market center from a training standpoint. Also, when you click on your picture here, okay, it's going to bring you into preferences. Okay, see that? So you can give it a little bit of different additional information about yourself. But if you click on edit preferences here, at the very bottom, so this is how do I want to be notified if there's any trainings going on. I like to receive a daily email, so that's why you'll see most of that here. But the very bottom, there's a subscription for calendar. This is the real value. So what you should do here, whether you're iCal or Google, doesn't matter to me, okay, sync that to your calendars. Right, so if you sync the office calendar to your Google calendar, you'll always know what trainings are going on. You actually won't have to go back here. It'll all populate to your Google calendar. You know, some of this is a little bit fast, and I'm sorry. You have a lot to cover, but you can go to intranet. I'm just going to come out one more time. And again, Market Center Tech Trainer, plus this is recorded. Go to your intranet, right? And then you'll click on your picture on the upper right-hand side, which will bring, you'll see the calendar here. You can see what's upcoming. But to edit your preferences, click on your photo, click Edit Preferences. And at the very bottom, if you click on calendar subscriptions, you're going to get links. And what you're going to do is the office calendar. Click on Google or Apple, and it'll give you a code. And you can paste that into Google. Now, I told you don't have to be a coder, and you don't. This is cut and paste. If you're scared or terrified to death of this, that's fine. Talk to your Market Center Tech Trainer, and they will help you set this up. It's a couple clicks of the mouse. It's not a big deal. But I can't walk you through doing it on Google right now. Everybody good with that? When in doubt, get help, right? The most important thing is recognizing when you get help and asking for it. That's why we provide the people in your market center to give you help, so you're not stuck. All right. That's really what I'm going to do is talk about on the old system. We're slowly migrating completely away from it. Hopefully in the next 12 months, it'll be gone. But there's nuance in setup where you guys will still do certain things here. This is the last we're really going to talk about my KW for this week. Everybody good with that? Awesome. All right, let's go. So back to my slide deck. Let's make sure I cover everything. Now we're going to talk about KW Connect. We're also slowly, and if you've been in Command, at the top of Command, you see Connect. KWConnect.com is that interaction. However, I will tell you this. There are still more things on KW Connect than there are in Command's edition of Connect. So logging into kwconnect.com is important. And I'm going to show you the most important things here in just a second. Again, we will slowly be migrating all of that into Command. But think about it like this. So KW Connect, for all intents and purposes, is the equivalent of streaming, YouTube, Facebook Live, right? We do a lot of trainings on here from KWRI. So, and you can go watch recorded trainings or pre-recorded trainings. But in your mind, think of it as YouTube, but just for KW, okay? Now, I go ahead and log in here. What's that? I am now on kwconnect.com. So if you guys want to join me here, kwconnect.com. And you're going to log in with the same credentials. Your KW user ID and password will get you in here as well. Okay. Now, a couple things I'm walking. There's a lot here. And I'm okay with you guys. And I highly encourage you on everything I tell you to log into, don't go around. You can't break anything. You can get lost. There's a lot there, right? I'm going to highlight the important things. But I want you to get in the habit of going into these platforms regularly, taking a look around. There's unbelievable value that KWRI is putting out for you. Right? I logged in and there's articles right on the homepage, right? Family reunion, we know that's coming up, right? The winter magazine, which we'll talk about, but KWRI gives you a magazine to print and send out to your consumers, right? So we release those once a quarter. Social content, we give you a social calendar, right? We're taking the guesswork away from you. We'll give you designs and things for you to put out on KWR on your social network, right? Other tools that KW rolls out. So this is always a great place to go. What's streaming now? Well, we have a training class from KWI coming up in 3 hours, Find Your Fortune in Real Estate. So you can always go here and see what's going on that KWI is presenting live to you, right? Or you could look at, hey, what's going on this week? Okay, you can check your live stream calendar and click through here. What I like to do, so I actually changed how I did this. So you guys use a calendar in your life? Who uses a calendar? Whether it's digital or written, doesn't really matter, right? I think some people are like kind of still hybrids, written, phone, computer. What I challenge you to do is this, right? And I read this morning. There's this book I'm reading right now. It's John Maxwell, and maybe you guys have heard of John Maxwell. He's been around a little while, right? And I can find the exact quote. Of course, I won't be able to find. I should have bookmarked it. There you go. What matters most is what you do day to day and over the long haul. The secrets of our success is found on our daily agenda. Let that resonate with you for a minute. The secret of your success is found in your daily agenda. Do you drive your day or does your calendar drive your day? The busier you get, the more important the calendar is, right? So I challenge you from the beginning to lead with your calendar. Set yourself up for success. Now, I used to look at my calendar on Sundays, but it wasn't working for me because I was too tired at the end of the weekend from running around from hockey tournaments and soccer and God knows what else. So I actually now block on my calendar at the end of the day on Fridays from 4 to 5 that I book my following week's agenda that I work on it between 4 and 5 on Friday. Set myself up for the following week. So if you spend an hour working on the most important big rocks in your world and set yourself up for success for the next week, you won't be drugged around, right, by being reactionary in your business. If you put something in your calendar and something else comes up, if it was important enough to put in your calendar, think about, is it important enough to erase from your calendar? Don't let somebody's calling you for an appointment, show a house, drive you. That's really hard as a new agent. I got to jump, I got to react, I got to go run out. Somebody called, they want to go look at the house. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But I had this training with Dave from 9 to 11. Oh, I can skip that. The client's more important. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it is or it isn't. Okay? But you have to ask yourself that question. What's more important? Don't let them drive you, you drive them. I'm sorry, I'm booked at 9 o'clock. Can you meet at noon? Can you meet at 1? Can you meet at 2? Just think about it, whether it's my training or somebody else's training or something else you decide was important, family, right? Don't ever replace a family appointment with business. Don't ever do that. God, family, business is our mantra, right? If you said you're going to go to your kid's game on Saturday at 11 o'clock, do not go to an appointment instead. Go to the kid's game. That's just me, okay? So don't do it. Calendar. So I always work on my calendar on Fridays. And what I challenge you to do is look at what is your office offering, what is the region offering, what is KWRI offering. So this first thing under calendar, if I click on that in KWRI, oh no, that's not what I want, sorry. I actually had like, they moved it. Resources, skip calendar for right now. We're working on building that up. Resources, Connect Live Calendar. This is KWRI's training that they are providing to everybody that you can attend. This is our schedule of events, usually a couple weeks out. Okay, so you see that the month of February is up. So you can literally go in here and see what classes do you want to attend. These aren't all tech classes, they're business classes, right? Knowledge is power, right? 6 ways to lead family reunion with an action plan, right? If you guys are going to family reunion or if you're watching it live, a lot of mistakes people make, they go to live training and then they don't take action off of the material that they just learned. Important. So schedule these if they apply to you or interest you in your day-to-day. And then they're provided to you live from KWR. So Connect Live is important. I always like to know what I'm doing each week. The other thing that I want to show you on here, okay, that was under resources. Right below that, you'll see welcome new associates. There's a timetable to do things. We all learn things at different speeds. I cover a lot of that in this class, but some of you may want to go back and say, hey, what did Dave not cover? They've written books about what I haven't covered. I can't tell you what's important to you. I try to give you what I think is important, cover things at a high enough level, but you guys can come back here and see, hey, what else is there, okay, to start building a business. So welcome new associates is something you should bookmark. Again, I'll send you these links, but knowing where to get them, how to access them, and what to do, and take time and checking these different things out. That's right underneath resources, okay? Also underneath resources is marketing. Your market center should provide you a logo to use in your business, but you can go to logos and branding. There's listing presentations and templates. There's Outfront Magazine, all kinds of training available for you. So you can go in and just check this out. But underneath logos and branding, I do recommend you download and read this. It can be a little boring. But believe it or not, by joining KW, you did agree to some things in terms about how you utilize their material. There's local laws, there's KW rules. We don't have police, we don't monitor you, but occasionally now and then you might get a call or an email from somebody said, hey, you modified the KW email or a KW logo, you're not allowed to do that. I had an agent whose initials were actually KW, and they were using their initials and a domain name in their marketing. You're not allowed to do that. Funny little things. So there's this identity and style guide that tells you the do's and don'ts of marketing with the KW branding. We're incredibly flexible, which is great. Some organizations that you may have see out in the general public are very specific about company first. We are agent first. You can brand yourself, but the general public still needs to know, there are laws about this, who you're with, right? There are local laws. So make sure you are clear, talk to your brokerage about what those are for you and your rules and regulations about how you market yourself locally and with KW. So I'd just like to highlight that for everybody. Okay. Over here, there's technology, okay? And you'll see there are training and resources, right? So you can check that out, see what other tools are available to you from a training standpoint. What do you want to learn about today? And what I like is this command your business. Now, KWI recognizes that all associates don't learn the same way. This overview that I provide, or that we provide collectively, might work for some people. For some people, it's too much. 2 hours is a lot, gives them a foundation, but they got to go back. Here in Command Your Business, now it's not as up to date as mine is, because I always roll out any new improvements that we rolled out, but under recommended training here, there are a series of shorter videos, right? 3 to 10 minutes where you can accomplish smaller task-driven stuff, or maybe a little bit of a rehash that you need on something. So it's a great place to go back at the end of the day. You crack open a beer, a bottle of wine, or sipping on a little bourbon. You want to remind yourself what you were doing today, and you don't feel watching. Dave was really long-winded today. I'd rather get right to the point. So you want to go check something out here. So this is also a great thing that you guys can kind of look at, and it's separate out by topic: database, transactions, consumer, marketing, running your business. We're going to cover all of that, but that's also click there for you as well. So then you also have all the way on the right-hand side, which we will cover later, but I want you to see that it's here. You actually have a profile. The profile that's on this page, okay, is your marketing profile for KW Associates, right? So when we talk about business to business referrals, we will cover this later, but KW is the largest referral company in the world. Okay? There are branded, known referral companies, but we're 180,000 agents in the United States, Canada. We're nearing 200,000 agents worldwide. You can send referrals just about anywhere, okay? And we're growing constantly. You can send internal referrals. You can certainly send external referrals. I've done that. That's okay. We don't have an office everywhere. Okay? But this is your story to KW agents. So just to know what the difference is between the two, that this profile is only seen by KW agents. All right. Any questions on my KW, I'm sorry, not my KW, KWConnect.com. Good? All right, moving on.
David, I have a question.
Go ahead, Angela.
So on my profile, I have a generic profile listed. Is that something that I'm from the Fredericksburg location? Is that something that they want me to use, or is that just a generic one to kind of help me get set up on it?
It's just generic. You can go right here and click edit my profile and rewrite it.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times, because we don't want you to have an empty storefront, right? So we'll populate a lot of these things when we launch them for you.
Okay.
And that's why I do take the time to kind of walk you back through them so you can go back and clean them up. And you should always be editing them, right? Because the more business you do, the longer in your business, you should always be going back to that. I say that, and I know that I have to go back and update some of this stuff. Somebody says I've been in the business 13 years. It's been 15 years. So on your annual calendar. Yeah.
And I'm a new agent. I'm still waiting on my license right now. Is this something that I could use bits and pieces of to use as my profile?
Yeah, that's up to you. Like, if you like what it says, use it, right? But remember, it's out there for, a lot of other people, not just you.
Okay.
So you always want it to reflect you. So it's a starting point.
Okay.
We're all about you. We try to make your lives easier, but you have a story to tell. So let it reflect your story.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Next slide. So we're actually going to log into next. And I know, while I said at the beginning, nothing that we're doing is complicated. But what I didn't tell you is that being overwhelmed is complicated. I understand that, and I sympathize. It is overwhelming, while not complicated. We make overwhelming complicated. That's why I tell you to take your time, right? You're not going to remember everything that I just talked about. That's why we give you the slides. That's why I want you to be a self-advocate for yourself, knowing that the tools and the people are here to support you. All you have to do is ask, right? Go to your Market Center Tech Trainer, go back to the videos, go to the links, take time to build your business, work in and on your business, and give yourself time. And drink lots of wine if that's your thing. I don't judge. All right. So next we will go to the command platform. All right. So I want you to all go to agent.kw.com. Agent.kw.com. Now, look, it is 9:55. I recognize that everybody's mindset and brains and bladders can last about an hour sometimes. So if you all take 5 minutes to get a hot coffee refresh, which is what I'm going to do, get some water. Let's come back at 10 o'clock and we'll jump on the second half. Does that sound good for everybody? Awesome. See you in 5. All right, so we're going to jump into section 2 of our trainings today. And we're going to talk a little bit about the consumer. I'm going to stop share for a second. The consumer is at the heart of everything that we do. Okay? And they're the single most important thing in our lives is our consumers, our database. Okay? Who are we going to talk to and when? I joke about this, but there's a lot of truth in this. Okay? Don't be a secret agent. What do you think that means? Somebody answer.
Not sharing your information, not working your database.
Yeah. Make the assumption that business is going to come to you, right? You know what happens when you assume? My father's favorite terminology. He always liked to drop that one line. Don't assume. I'm like, I hear you, Dad. Don't make you an ass, Dad. I'm sorry. No, it's all right. Don't assume. You got to go get the business. You got to ask for the business, and you got to ask for it more than once. And remember, no just means not right now, right? No doesn't mean no. So you have to intentionally, deliberately, purposely come from contribution, and they will come. But you have to work on your business. The databases, we jump into that tomorrow, right? And Ruth's going to talk to you guys tomorrow about the importance of the database and how to build a database. Your database is your sphere. It's everything around you, right? I run into this all the time. People go, I don't have a database. I'm like, sure you do. How many friends do you have on Facebook? 1,500? They're like, well, those aren't going to be my clients. Why not? Well, they don't live here. So what? They're going to buy a house somewhere, right? Can you refer them business? I never thought about that. So segment your database. Segment who lives here, who lives there. Be intentional about what you do. Business can come from all kinds of places. Don't have a limiting belief. You'd be surprised. Do you know that you can scroll to the bottom of your phone and see how many people on your phone? People go, oh my God, I have 300 people in here. I don't even know. It's a database. It's a sphere. Sure, there are more important people in your world, and you're going to figure out who those people are, right? You can get to 100 people. Now, I'm not just talking about like build a list of 100 people, but if you can get 100 people, okay, that will fight and kill for you, you will make an incredible business. Because here's what happens. If you have a top 100 that they are passionate about your success, okay, and passion is a funny thing, but if you have 100 people that know, like, and trust you, 10 of those people are either going to buy, sell, invest, or know somebody who's that are going to refer you business every year. 10 deals right out of the box. If you have 100 people that will kill for you. And what do I mean by that? That's strong words, right? Well, think about your experience. You ever had a painter, a carpenter, a house cleaner, HVAC, landscaper, snow guy, right? All of those things that you hire people to do. And when you have a good experience, what do you do the next time somebody asks if you know anybody? You trip over yourself to make that recommendation. And you don't even know that person all that well, but you want to be the person. I want to make that referral to Amanda. I want to make that referral to Angela. I want to make that referral to Daphne because she asked and she needed help. It's your job as a realtor is to make that, right? Be that go-to person, but you want them to be your advocate too, right? Every time somebody in your world hears the word real estate, you want them fighting to get in front of somebody and, hey, you know what? You got to call Vicky. You got to call Gina. You got to call Amy. And the only way that happens is you come from contribution and you build your tribe. And once you do that, which takes time, once you do it, and you do it well, you'll be incredibly successful. And then outside of that top 100, you'll have different levels of people in your world where business will come from because you're deliberately engaging with them. But you start with the top 100. So start thinking about what does that look like for you and how quickly can you get there to develop your top 100. Does that make sense? You feeling where I'm coming from? You guys reflect upon the last time you referred somebody to somebody. You wanted to. You want that for your people too. And I will tell you this, there are going to be people in your world that you thought were in your top 100, okay? And they're then going to go do something real estate without you. I'm just preparing you now. Angelo, you said you're new, so I'm going to pick on you. There's somebody in your world at some point in time in your life, it may not be this month, next week, this year, but sometime, somebody that you're going to assume would call you is going to do something in real estate. You're going to get really upset. Don't. It happens. It happens all the time. It happens to the best. It's happened to me multiple times, okay? You have to ask yourself one question. What could I have done better to prevent that from happening? Did you assume that they would do business with you, or were you purposeful in your relationship with them? We have friends, so therefore we shy away from business sometimes. There's a time and a place for everything. When you talk to your friends, it's okay to talk business if you schedule time to talk business. So this is something I'm trying to instill upon you guys. It's a common thing, and it will happen, and it will hurt. Don't excommunicate that person. Don't cut them out of your lives. Ask what you could do better. Database, communication, CRM, things that we're going to work on will allow you to do that deliberately, intentionally better. Okay? So I want you guys all to log in to agent.kw.com. That's connect. Or command, not connect. Sorry. See, I am tongue-tied sometimes. Agent.kw.com. That's command. So we're going to spend the majority of your time once you've kind of got everything kind of set up. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a walking tour here. So you're going to log into command, right? With your user ID and password, like you've done everything else. I can spell. There we go. I'll give you a little walking tour of what's going to happen here and some additional things you guys are going to want to do as part of your action steps. So on the upper left-hand side of command, you've got a little red KW. Is everybody, first let me ask, is everybody here? Thumbs up? Awesome. Okay. So you can either A, click on the red KW, or B, just hover over the applets on the left-hand side and tell you what those are, so you know what they are, right? You guys all have one of these? You guys seen these before? It's called a cell phone. Anybody familiar with this? Okay. On that phone, we have these things called apps. You may have come across one here and then. Apps, right? Now, let me ask you, have you guys gone to school to learn how to use this thing? Did you guys take a class, or did you just start pushing buttons? And I know that sounds like a pretty ridiculous question, but it's really not, okay? Because what happens is people throw themselves in these things all day. Oh, I got to figure this out. And of course, you ask questions of people sometimes. But when it comes to technology and things that you're utilizing your day-to-day, there's this paralyzing fear of tech. Tell me if this resembles you. I'm going to be the worst at tech ever. Like, if I had $1 for every time I heard that, this isn't tech. Not a coder, not a programmer. This is your phone. We call command a platform. I want you to think of it as your cell phone. It's a platform with applets. That's all this is. It's a platform that has applets that allows you to do things. It's like your phone allows you to get directions, check in with friends, make phone calls, some text message, play. I was going to say Candy Crush, but I don't know if anybody still does that. I don't. But then there's that new thing that's out there right now that I have no idea, Wobble or whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what that is. It just blogs up my Facebook post. Don't be scared of tech. Tech is a 4-letter word. Tech happens, right? Tech is a 4-letter word. It's okay. But it's leverage. Tech is leverage. That's all I want you to think of it as. It's not a hindrance, it's leverage. You just got to get comfortable with what you're using, just like your phones. Although we do want to throw them across the room sometimes too. Been there, done that, right? All right. So inside of Command, you've got these applets, contacts. So people say all the time, "Oh, Command's my CRM." No, Command is your platform that has a CRM. Client Relationship Manager. That's what CRM stands for. Okay. Contacts is the CRM portion of Command. We're going to talk about that. Tasks. What do I need to do every single day to advance business with somebody? Who do I call? Who do I email? Who do I have coffee with? Right? Who I have an appointment with? Tasks. What do I have to do today to drive business? Smart plans. How do I communicate with somebody effectively, automatically, deliberately on a set system that I don't always have to be doing things? Smart plans. Reminders of doing. So you will do things. It can send text messages and emails, or it can tell me that I have a task to call somebody, meet with somebody, or do something. Referrals. We are the largest referral platform in the world. You have access to every agent in the KW ecosystem to look them up and send them business. Right? Maybe we send business to Sacramento, California. You can look up agents in Sacramento, California that are in KW. Opportunities. Who has a whiteboard in their office? Anybody? Anybody but Ted? Right? Have you walked around your office and seen whiteboards? Right? What are on there? Addresses, names, buyer, seller, closing dates, escrow dates, right? Purchase price, estimated price, EMD due dates, inspection due dates, right? They get very long and complicated. And guess what? You know, this is more a girl thing than a guy thing, but when you're in there and you wear those white blouses and you're updating your whiteboard, what do? You get that black stuff all over your sleeves, right? And then you got to go wash stuff. You know, crap, I got red and black and green all over my arms, right? You have to update these things regularly. Well, if you think of opportunities inside of Command as your digital whiteboard, and you don't get all dirty. It tells you what to do, when to do it, and what's going on, and what your pipeline look like. How much business do I have this week, this month, this year? Digital whiteboard. You can have it up on a TV screen. TV screens are cheap now, right? You can go to Best Buy, buy an out-of-box return for like $200 and go get yourself like a 40-inch television hanging on the wall. You can do that now. You can cast all these things right to it, right? There's incredible leverage in your world, and time is money. So just saying. All right, so those are opportunities. Campaigns. How do we communicate with people effectively, not just through smart plans, but I want to bulk email somebody, send a newsletter, campaigns, digital mailers, postcards, reports of reports. We get the feeling there. Designs. Does anybody know what Canva is? Has anybody heard of Canva? Create flyers, write postcards, social media. Designs is our version of Canva. And the leverage of the best differences is that we have all our listing material in here. So our pictures and all that stuff is there. You don't have to upload them. So Designs is your platform. So we're going to cover that this week as well. Derek's going to teach you guys about that on Wednesday. Listings, we have all the listings. So if there's a listing in the MLS, it's in our system. We don't have coming soon because there's laws about that. But all active listings, whether they're yours, your market centers, other agents, or other companies, are in our system. Okay. And then consumer. The consumer is the heart of everything. The consumer, there's a difference between a consumer and a contact, right? A contact is somebody whose information I have. Consumer is somebody who's going to do business with me. Right? It's the John Q. public. They have the potential to buy something. Contacts are people that are in my world. Consumer people that are actively engaging in looking at property, either on my desktop, through a website, or through your mobile app because you've given it to them. So that's what you have at your disposal. And every time you log into Command, you're going to come onto your dashboard. That's what you see right here. Now, this is the first experience you're going to have with this. If you haven't really been here before, there's a blue button, green button in the upper right-hand side. And if you're on a single page, it's probably behind my picture right now. So I give you permission to minimize my smiling face and click on the Customize Home button. You get control. This one thing I love about Command is that everybody's experience in Command can potentially be different based off of your needs, okay? So when you click on that Customize Home, you get this widget dashboard on the left. What do you want to see? tasks, updates, goals, designs, notepads, right? Leads. And you can check. When you check those boxes on the right-hand side, you see different boxes pop up. Those boxes have these 6 dots or ellipses, which tell you this: they're movable. You can drag and drop. I can move things around. So when you're ever on the internet, you see dots like that, means things are movable. Okay. Now, when you've set things the way that you want them, okay, you hit apply. And it'll change your dashboard, what you see here, right? I got my tasks at the top. I got my health score. I got my goals. You're going to learn more about health score tomorrow. Your PC coach will talk to you about your goals. You've got product updates. The reason product updates are great is that KWI, the command development teams, update our platform quite regularly. Sometimes you notice it, sometimes you don't, right? Because we do things in the background. But we always tell you any new releases or updates we've done to commands. That's what you get from product updates. And there's also this little lesser known, besides what's new, it's what's next, where we give you a bigger picture, like quarter by quarter development of what we're working on in the long term that we're going to build into the command platform. So it's always good to be informed where things are coming or going from. And then design updates here at the bottom. Every holiday, and then some, we design social media announcements for you guys to utilize. And we're going to get into designs. Again, Derek's going to cover that on Wednesday, where you're going to learn all about designs. So anytime there's new designs, it'll show up on this screen. So this is your home screen. This is your dashboard. So you can go in there, set it. You can go in anytime and change it, right? When you start doing the lead generation, which is, hey, who's new to my database because they logged in on a website or my mobile app or came through a landing page or an advertisement, those are what we call leads. I'm going to process this for a second because everybody uses this terminology a little bit different. What is a lead? Okay. A lead to you might be different than what we call a lead in command. And we try to keep it simple for you. If I polled all of you, you would all probably say a lead is somebody that's going to buy some real estate from me. Is that fair to say? Okay. Inside of command, what we call a lead is somebody you haven't connected with yet. A one-way conversation. Either they've reached out to you or you somehow got their information. Okay. Maybe Kate sent Randall's contact information and said, hey, Randall needs to do something. And I think you should go talk to him. Well, Randall and I haven't spoken yet. So Randall's a lead. Okay. Now, once Randall and I have a conversation, I get to understand what Randall's looking for. Randall knows how I can help him. He's now a contact because he knows who I am. We've had a two-way conversation. Been able to introduce myself. I got his contact information. He has my contact information. And we may or may not, after that conversation, agree to continue to try to talk about developing relationship to turn them into a consumer. Okay. But in Command's world, a lead is a one-way conversation. A contact is somebody that knows who you are and you know who they are. We try to keep it simple for you. What you do with it from there is entirely up to you as long as you're consistent. But so when you see lead here, you at least know what that means. We're good with that? All right, fantastic. So now across the top, there are a couple of things I'm going to show you. There's a little marketplace. Now, I don't dive into too much of that here because it's another rabbit hole, but I encourage you to go in and take a look. So marketplace are integrations, partnerships, if you will, with other companies in KWI that there are offerings, things that you can pay for to do or incorporate and tie in your business. Okay, we use like APIs to plug in other platforms. There's a lot there. Talk to your Market Center Tech Trainer. They'll give you an idea of what the most important things are for you. We'll talk a little bit about some of them. And there's some trainings and things on the back end. But you can go in there and take a look. But understand that when you see money, the money is for the partnership to go to a third-party company. It doesn't go to KW. And there's a cost of doing business sometimes, just like you pay for an app on your phone sometimes. That's what we're talking about here. Next, that is the little bell. You get a bell notification if there's something going on in your database, right? Somebody reach out to you, did somebody text you, did somebody send you an email, there's something you need to do. These notifications will also show up on your cell phone when you download the mobile app, which you're going to do here in a moment. Okay. So that's the bell. Once you complete everything, okay, I'm aware of all this, that little red dot goes away, right? I'm all caught up. All the way to the right, you see a little question mark. That's help. How do you get help? Well, if I can't get a hold of my market center technician, or if you're just going to be a champion of yourself and a self-advocate, which I encourage you to do, is look things up first. I want you to look things up first. You can come here. There are guided tours inside of the system where I can go and say, hey, walk me through the homepage, walk me through contacts. There are tutorials, there are things that we call purple bubbles that are step-by-step that will walk you through things. So that question mark is your first place to go if you need help with something, okay? Help and information. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to give you, even though I'm going to send you the link, I want you guys to bookmark this now. Write this down, answers.kw.com. Answers.kw.com. So if KW Connect, which I referred to as basically YouTube for all of us, right? Inside of KW's ecosystem, I want you to think of answers.kw.com as Google for all things KW. You'll see there's some command app, these are like high level buttons. You can go in here and they're fact pages, they're tutorials of how to, where I can search for a topic, right? And it'll jump to an article or something that's been written about something. This is where you will also always go to first. Let me go look at and see if there's an answers page to do what I'm going to do. Because more times than not, when I get a question, even from my own market center, I respond to that question with a link to this page. Here's what you're looking for. Your market center tech trainers will do things. Don't take it rude or personally, because time and money matters, right? There's an answer a lot of times for the things that you're looking for. I'm just going to stop screen share for a moment because I want you to think about it this way. When we talk about support, there's usually 3 buckets of things fall into that you need, okay? First and foremost, you're asking a question that you don't know how to do. So it's a training element, okay? So there's a video for that, or there's an article for that, or there's a one-on-one in your future to meet with your market center tech trainer around that. If you've self-advocated for yourself first, you've come to all these classes, which your market center tech trainer will know that if you guys attended all the classes, right? Then what I encourage you to do after this week is meet with them one-on-one, so you can kind of fill in the gaps of anything you may have learned. And then you can always meet with them after that, right? They probably have one-on-ones available for your market center. You may get stuck on something that you learned. Either they trained you or I trained you. Go to answers first and look for your answer. And then if you really can't figure out, and it's not a training issue, let's put that aside. Maybe you're looking for command to do something that it doesn't do yet. We call that a feature request, right? I told you command is still developing. We're adding new things all the time. So if it's not a training issue, right, because you know how it does, but you're looking for it to do something it doesn't do, it's a feature request. There's another website for you that I'll send you a link. Ideas.kw.com. Ideas.kw.com. You can actually make a recommendation to KW, said, hey, I would like the system to do this. They love that. Gary looks at that information. Jason looks at that information. They talk about it every Monday. What are agents asking for that we don't have that we need? Or what changes do we need to make? And you can vote up ideas in ideas.kw.com. Our platform, when we champion this, we say this, it's an agent or a platform built for agents by agents, because agents provide us feedback. Agents lab the product. Other agents, and you might fall into this category, so you may test it for us at some point in the future. The things that we're rolling out. Built for agents by agents. And lastly, the third bucket. So if the first one is training, the second one is a feature request, the third is it's broke, because sometimes tech happens. Sometimes it's a command related issue. It might be a PC related issue, or it might be an outside party, right? Because we have Amazon World Services that affect things, global that affects things, Google that affects things, Facebook that affects things, right? Car accidents in our neighborhood, data centers that go down, Eastern Seaboard wires get cut. So what's the support issue? And if it is a support, your market center tech trainer is the first person to talk to, that they will either A, tell you, yes, this is a known issue, we're working on it, or B, this is an isolated incident for you, let's get support looking at it. So on answers.kw.com, at the very top right-hand side, there's a submit a request. The market center tech trainer will walk you through submitting a request. Well, you can submit a request on your own, but I do recommend you talk to them first, if possible, okay? and they'll walk you through gathering data. Here's the thing I get all the time from people. Hey, this is broke. Well, that's pretty innocuous, right? What's broke? What's your experience like? You got to give a lot of details. So don't get upset when they ask you a lot of questions about what's going on, because screenshots don't tell the story. Can't always determine what's happening in a screenshot. I will tell you to download and utilize a platform called Loom, Loom, Loom.com. It's screen capture software. It's free. What you can do is actually record your screen and talk and say, David or Ted, I'm working on this, I'm clicking this, and here's my experience. And we can actually see what's happening. And then we can either talk you through what needs to happen next, or we can take that video, we could send that into support for you so that we can recreate the challenge and see what's happening. The more information, the more details, the better. I know it's frustrating sometimes, but neither your Mark Center Tech Trainer or I are really help desk or support, but we know enough to know how we can help you sometimes. And then other times we have to escalate up the chain for you to let you know. So training, feature requests, and it's actually broke. Those are the 3 buckets of the questions that we typically get. 80% is training related, 15% is a feature request, and about 5% it's actually broke. All right, so let's jump back into Command now. Bring my screen back up. Sometimes I just need to look you all in the eye, right? Mr. Miyagi says, always look eye, right? Look eye. So that's why I like to do this. And that's why I want to see all your smiling faces. All right, let's go back to my screen. So that was answers.kw.com. Now let's go back into Command. On the upper right-hand side, you will see your name. Everybody see your name? Okay. This is going to be part of your action steps for today. Some things you're going to have to go do, okay? We'll walk you through the important stuff, and some of this we'll rehash as we walk our way through the week. If you go to the drop down, you're going to see the word profile. Okay. Remember, I told you there are 2 profiles for you. There's a marketing profile. There's an agent-to-agent profile. This word profile is your agent-to-agent profile. It is not your marketing profile. So while this is important, I want you to fill that out. It's the same one that you saw in KW Connect that just talk to each other. Your consumer-facing profile is the one I want you to focus on today. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to get there. So you go to Settings, right? Go to Settings. And on the left-hand side, there's the word Connect Settings. Right? You went to your name, you went to the drop-down. You clicked on Settings. This screen popped up, and on the left-hand side, it says Command Settings. Okay? So I want you to click on your marketing profile from here, and you're going to fill in the blank. You're going to upload a picture. You have to get a headshot of yourself. If your Market Center hasn't told you already, you're going to want to get a picture. I don't put pictures on business cards, but there is a time and a place for people, the John Q public, to know who you are. So when they're meeting with you, I know there's some scarcity, and I understand that, okay? But the system's going to look for a picture for you. If you're on a team, you've got your team logo. You can have, now I told you earlier about branding, right? You could design a personal logo, right? You don't have to be on a team to have a team logo. You have a personal logo. You can go to Fiverr and create a logo that's your initials or something. I'm totally fine with that. Go nuts. Make yourself your brand. Make yourself your brand. Own it, right? Add your details here. One of the things I love absolutely the most here, that's something new they just added here, is this military affiliations button. So agents can search agents by military designation if they've been in the military, right? Active duty, reserves, right? It'll ask you what branch of service. But what I also love is this military spouse, right? Just because your spouse was in the service doesn't make you any less important, but there's a connection there. And obviously we live in a highly military transient area. Put this information in there. We're going to continue to build upon that. Obviously, Carl Liebert, who's the president of our company, is in the Navy. For those of you that have been around, or anybody old enough to remember a guy named David Robinson, the Admiral, professional basketball player. God, nobody raised their hands. That really hurts. Anyways, Carl played basketball with him at the Naval Academy, which is kind of a big deal. So Carl's a pretty amazing guy. And you've got your bio here. This is your marketing bio. This is your consumer-facing bio, right? This is you connecting with John Q. Public. your Market Center logo, your Market Center brokerage information, compliance. You'll hear about this. Each office is independently owned and operated. That has to be on everything you do. Business cards, flyers, advertising, social media, websites. Each office is independently owned and operated because KWRI doesn't own the market centers. They're franchises. Social media connections, you will have pages, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, right? There's connections for you. And then Google Analytics IB. I don't really teach to this for you guys because it gets a little dynamic, but I will tell you this. If you know what this is, we're good. If you don't know what this is, you don't need to worry about it right now. Is that fair? All right, perfect. So this is your marketing profile page. So this is an action step that you guys will want to do because as we build upon things this week, this is important. So take the time today to complete this profile. Okay. Now, there's a little green button here that I'm going to want you to turn on. We'll explain to you a little bit more detail in a while, but this will take this information, push it to other parts of the platform, website, consumer app, with your contact information. So once you fill this out, turn this little green toggle on. Now, I'm going to come back to your name again, and I'm going to highlight a couple other settings for you guys that I want you to be aware of, okay? Now, we're going to go over DocuSign on Friday. Not every office utilizes it, but we're going to go ahead. But I want to make sure that by Friday, you've got a DocuSign connection in place. Your Market Center tech trader or broker can help you set this up, but you're going to connect. You're going to create an email and a login and password, and you want DocuSign connected to your account. We'll cover that again on Friday. The order of my things on my screen are going to be different than yours, but that's okay. You're going to see Facebook. We're going to cover that on Wednesday, but here's what you need to know to show up for Wednesday's class, okay? And you can do it now or Wednesday. It doesn't matter to me. You need your Facebook login. A lot of people show up and be like, I don't know what it is. I'm giving you a couple days notice. You need your Facebook login. The reason is this. When you log into Facebook, if you have a business page, okay, our system will see your business page, but you have to log in your Facebook account, okay? You cannot run advertising without a Facebook business page. Okay, so that is important. You have to have a Facebook business page to allow yourself to run Facebook advertising or Twitter advertising or Instagram advertising when we get to that point on Wednesday, okay? So you have to have your Facebook login credentials. Gmail, I want you guys all, if you have your KW email set up, I want you to connect your page. It'll say connect Gmail. I want you to put your your Gmail, your KW email here, because what happens is this. Every time you send an email to somebody, it'll record that email to their contact record if they're in your database. So it starts to track your communication. All right, so you're going to want to connect your Gmail email, if that's what you're using. If you're using another type of email, which I kind of covered earlier, you can connect that as well. Only one though, but I prefer it be your KW email. If you use Outlook and not Gmail, then you connect your Outlook. We just covered Facebook and Twitter and Google Words, same type of thing. If you know what those are, you'll connect those accounts. .loop, we're going to skip. And then at the very bottom, it says command email. Does everybody see command email at the bottom? I'm going to try to explain this in a very simple way, but you're going to find it complicated. Complicated is not the right word. Slightly confusing. Okay. I want you to click on the manage button here. Does everybody see that? Your name should show up. Or if it doesn't, I want you to type your name in that box. Okay. And then right below that box is a reply to email. That reply to email should be your KW email address. Okay. And you're going to see here that you've got 5,000 emails to send each month. So I really want you to do right now is put your name in here and make sure that you've got your KW email connected here. Now here's what this means. So we give you an email address, which is your Gmail. That's straightforward, that's clear, that's easy, that's Gmail, it's all good to go. Now, when we get further into the platform, okay, you're going to learn about smart plans or emails that go out automatically on your behalf. They're not going from your KW David Donaldson at KW.com email. They're actually going out from a tracking email that's built into your database, okay, that actually is your name, David Donaldson, and then the email address actually says agent, then there's a series of numbers, which is our KWRI identifier, at mail.kw.com. That's the email it's going to go to your clients. Now, a lot of the agents trip over this and think this is confusing. It's really not, because when your client receives it, they're going to see your name. That's why I tell you to make sure you add your name right here so they know that it's from you. People are used to receiving emails from different people from different email addresses in this world. So don't trip over the fact that they're receiving an email from David Donaldson, agent 12345 at mail.kw.com. Don't worry about that. When they respond to that email, they're going to respond to your KW email because that's what you're telling the system to do. But in order for the system to automatically send things out on your behalf, it's got to use that email identifier to track what's going out. So it's using a secondary email. It's not one that you will ever put or have to utilize. I'm just telling you what it is and not to worry about it. And I get that question all the time. Hey, this is going up for some weird email address. I know. That's what the system does. In order, most CRM tools will work that way. That's got to use some sort of other variant email to kind of hide it and respond to your primary email address. Don't trip over it. Just be conscious of it. I don't want you guys to know about it. We're not going to talk about MailChimp. We're going to talk more about Twilio when we do smart plans, okay, which will be tomorrow. But I do want you to know this. I do highly encourage you to go in and create an account. This is probably good for you to do today instead of tomorrow, but if you do it today, it'll come in handy. Does anybody know what a Google Voice number is? No? Okay, I have a Google Voice number. So I came here from Arizona. So my cell phone is a 480 number. But I moved locally and I wanted a local number, but I didn't want to pay and I didn't want to get rid of my 480 number because I had a lot of people that already had it. So I got what's called a Google Voice number. So I got a local 703 number. So I have on my signs, my communication is 703 business number that forwards to my 480 number. I got that from Google. Well, now W has something very similar to that. However, instead of voicemail, it's actually texting. So in order for the system to send out automatic text for you, it's got to have a phone number and it's got to have a generic phone number. It can't be your specific phone number. So you will actually go in here and you will create an account. You will select a local phone number, 703-202-571-804, depending on where you are, okay, if they're available, because there's only so many 703 numbers to be had. So you sometimes have to get something a little bit different. And that when you set the system up to text somebody automatically, it'll come from that other number and not from yours. Again, it's just like email. People feel confused about utilizing, but knowing why is important. It's tracking. And what you have to do is create this connection in this account. And it's a paid service that you have to pay for. It's not going to KW, it goes to Twilio, okay? But it's cheap. I will always protect money for agents. And this is one of those things I think you just need to pay for. It's part of the cost of doing business. It will cost you a grand total of $3 a month. Hope you can afford that. $3 a month for 300 credits, or $10 a month for 1,100 credits, or $15 a month for 1,600 credits. I say credits and not text, depending on what you're sending matters. If I send a regular text is less than 165 characters, that's 1 credit. If I send a multimedia message, what we call an MMS, okay, which is like a picture, right? Anybody ever received a picture via text? Then they charge you 3 credits for that. If I send what I call the equivalent to an email via text, which we've gotten those too, right? There's long 3 text messages worth of information that nobody ever reads. Okay, don't be that person. Then you get charged multiple credits based on the sign and the character count, either 2 credits or 3 credits. So that's why I say they sell you credits instead of text, because it depends on what you're doing. And then when you send the text, the system will calculate and say, hey, you're about to send this text message out to this many people, and it's going to cost you this many credits. And if you burn through your credits, which I don't do on a regular basis, it'll say, hey, you might want to upgrade your subscription. I will tell you, most new agents can get away with $300 a month. If you want more, then get more. Again, it's like $10 a month. Set this up. Ruth's going to go into more detail about that tomorrow when she talks about smart plans and communicating with your data bank. All right. We will come back to this every day. Ruth will talk a little bit more tomorrow about connecting those again when you're setting up for the class, but go through the process today, set up your email response, purchase your Twilio account, set that up, and be ready to go for more. Any questions on the setting page or the marketing profile that I just outlined for you guys? All right, excellent. All right, so now I want you guys all to get your cell phones out. I want you all to get your phones out. I'm gonna connect them. What I want you to do is go to your app store. If you've done this already, you don't have to redo this. Then you're just gonna open up your app. There are two apps that I actually want you to download. Okay. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to connect my phone to my screen. Stop share for a second. But I want you to go into your app store and I want you to look for two apps. One is your command app. It should say KW:command. I want you to download it. And then the other one is going to be your KW Real Estate app. It'll say KW Realty. I want you to download both those apps right now. If you have them both, great. If not, I want you to go ahead and download those. And I'm going to share my screen in just a second with you guys. All right. Did everybody start to download those two platforms? Or apps? Does everybody see this image of
David,
mine?
which two?
What's that?
Which two? Could you please
KW?
repeat which two?
Sure. It's the command app, which if you look it up in your store, is called KW:command. Okay. And the other one will be your KW Real Estate app.
Okay, thank you.
If you go into Google or Apple and search for those two, I'm going to go into my Play Store. You'll look for KW Command app. And it'll be red. It'll say KW:command, and I want you to install that. Okay. And then the other one that I want you to get is your KW Realty app. And I understand KW: buy and sell real estate. No, yours won't say beta, but mine will because I test it. But it'll be white with a KW. Okay. Those are the two apps that I want you guys to download and have on your phone. And once you have them on your home screen, you have them on your app. Those are apps you're going to use in day-to-day basis. Okay. I can only tell you that I'm going to run a couple minutes long. I'm going to try not to, but I'm already feeling like I'm going to run long. I tend to do this. Sorry, but we'll get you there. So first thing I want you to do, we're not going to spend too much time here, is your command app. So that basically the command app, you will log in with your KW user ID and password. Okay. Just like you did and everything else. And what this is your command dashboard, but on your phone, right? You're gonna have your contacts, birthdays, tasks, who do I call, when do I call, what do I do? That little bell notification I talked about on command. You'll see the applet buttons up here at the bottom. So you'll see all your contacts are here. I can call somebody, I can search for somebody, right? Right, so if I wanna look up Ted, or if I wanna call Ted, or if I wanna text Ted, and when your Twilio account is connected, I can either send a text through Twilio or my personal phone. And when you do these things from your phone, it records them all back to command, right? So if you send an email, or if you call somebody, you're calling a client, and this is going to be a skill set change for you guys. Go to command first, and then say, I want to call Ted, versus just looking Ted up in my phone. Because if I go to command app, click call Ted, it's going to ask me if I want to record that I made the call to Ted and save it to my database, right? Because you want to track all your communications. If I just call Ted, then nothing happens inside of command. If I go to command and then I call Ted, it records, doesn't record the message, doesn't record the conversation, but it'll say, hey, do you want to record that you talked to Ted? Yes. Great. What did you and Ted talk about? And you can type it. Ted and I talked about having lunch on Friday. And it'll bring it back to your dashboard. So get in the habit of when you're calling your consumers or texting your consumers directly, you go to the command app first. Of course, you have to build your contact database, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. But I just wanted to make sure that you had the app. Go in there, start playing around with it, push all the buttons you want, and take a look at everything. Okay. You have to get comfortable with it, right? Once you get through this class this week, you're going to be fairly comfortable with command. Therefore, the app itself is pretty intuitive that way. But having that app at your disposal is going to be a game changer, something we just rolled out recently. And it's going to continue to get better and do more things. We're basically on version 1 of this app right now. It'll have more and more integration to command where for those of you, especially if you're out in the field, it'll become second nature to you guys. Now, I will tell you this, it's a phone app. It's not necessarily a tablet app. They look and feel differently, right? So this is meant for your phone. So if you open it up on your tablet, it's going to function different. It's not going to look the same. It's meant to be on your phone, okay? So that's the command app. We referenced that, but everything you learn this week through command, database, smart plans, calling, texting, all can be done right through here. Tasks, like I need to do something, right? I click, hey, these are my past due tasks. Show me only my call tasks. If I click that I did call this person, would you like to mark that class that is complete? And then it marks it back on the database that I called Kelly. And then it says, when did you call her? What happened? I left her a voicemail and I have to call her back, right? So you have the ability to track all that from your phone without being on your desktop, which is a game changer. Okay. So that is the command app. The mobile app, the real estate app, the search app, your consumer app. Okay. This is something you want to get in the hands of your consumers. You want them using your mobile app, right? A lot of times you're going to get emails of listings from Zillow, from Realtor.com, from Homes.com, from other companies' websites. You want to get your mobile app in the hands of your consumers. Okay, so that real estate app, that second one I just had you, okay, utilize, which is now this KW app, okay, is your app. Now, when I explain this to you, I want you to forget for a moment that you're a realtor. Okay, this is important. So for you, what I want you to do, if this is the first time you're logging into this app, you need to tell the app that you need to choose you as your realtor because it does not know that you are you. Right? It doesn't know that Amanda's a realtor. Okay, it doesn't know that Marsha's a realtor. And it doesn't know that this is Marsha logging in as Marsha either. This is for your consumer, it's not for you. So disassociate yourself out for a second. And is everybody here? Does everybody have this open on their phone right now? Okay. On the bottom of your KW Realty app, there's a More button on the bottom right-hand side. I want you to click the More button. At the very top of that page, if you're already chosen yourself, perfect. You're going to see your name. If you haven't chosen yourself, right, then you're going to want to select your realtor. Now, the first time you downloaded the app, it probably would have asked you to choose a realtor. You want to choose yourself, right? You have to tell your app that you want you as your realtor. I know this is confusing and I'm sorry, but it's not built for you. It's built for your consumers. But once you yourself as your realtor, I'm going to show you how to share it so they don't have to choose you. But this is how this works, okay? Now, right below that, once you're chosen, you see that you're selecting yourself. You see this share this KW app button? You can share the app with other people. So everybody go ahead and click that share button. And then it's going to ask you, how do you want to share it? Do I want to share it on Messenger? Do I want to post it in a group? When it comes to sharing your app, your highest level of conversion to actually getting people to download your app is a direct message, whether it's via text or Facebook Instant Messenger. That is your highest level of conversion. If I just post it and have it as an email signature or just have it send it out to my Facebook page or email everybody, the conversion or adoption is very low. If you purposely, deliberately text somebody, okay? Hey, Cheney, it's Dave. I want you to have my mobile app. Download this. It works everywhere that you are. You can search for properties anywhere in the United States, Canada, Mexico, and we're adding new countries every month. You can even search for properties in Bermuda, the United Kingdom, Costa Rica, right? So go ahead and have fun with it. And besides, it's fairly new to me, so I would love your feedback. Let me know what you think about it, right? Because they love that too, right? You tell your consumers that you're involving them in the process, they get excited about it. They go, Dave, this is great. Or Dave, I would love her to do this. That's great feedback. We're looking for that. So think about how you deliver that message. But when you hit this message button on your phone, your text service is going to pop up, right? And it's going to say, hey, who do you want to send this to? Okay. Okay. And then here's a message that's going to default in your screen. It's going to have this link here. Now, that first part of that message is your code. That KW2QPV2PQ, that's specific to me. So if you were to click on this link, it's going to brand my app to you. So that's why this is important. When your consumers receive this text message and they click on that, it's going to automatically brand you to them. That's what you want. Now, this message is a little funny. It says, hey, I use the KW app to search for homes with my agent, David Donaldson. But it sounds funny if it's coming from me, referencing myself in the third party. But you have to understand why that's happening. This is not deliberately meant for you to be sharing the app. It's meant for your consumers to share the app with their friends. So if you're sharing it this way, you can just go ahead and change this text message. You can change what it says. Now, don't delete the code, but you can change the message. And some of your phones allow you guys to create quick text. You can type your own quick text though, that you're just sending people. Hi, this is Dave. This is my mobile app. I want you to have it. I'm looking for some feedback, whatever that says. But just understand the message, people trip over this. The message that goes out is not from you, it's about you. So I like to point that out. We good there? We clear? Clear as mud? All right, fantastic. Now,
Can I just ask you one thing?
Go ahead, Daniel.
Is there a way to add our profile picture to that, or does it just always remain like, yeah, because mine's not like, even though I put it in command and connect, for some reason it's not showing for some of the other things, even though it's like supposed to be in there. But I guess maybe that's.
Remember I told you to turn on that green marketing button on your profile page?
Green marketing button.
So remember,
Must have missed that one.
Right in the beginning, when I talked about setting up your profile page, at the very top of that, there's a green toggle. That toggle is what pushes your contact information across to everything else.
Gotcha.
And that'll bring your picture over.
And that's from which one? Is that from command or connect?
That was from command.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you.
Absolutely. Great question. Thanks for asking. So what I want you guys to do now is play with this, right? I want you to go into search. I want you to search for properties. I want you to create saved listings. I want you to create an account. I want you to see how it integrates back to command for you guys. And more importantly, I want you guys to share this with your sphere. Send this out to 10 people a day. Direct message people, either through your phone or through Facebook Instant Messenger, however, and start getting people and driving people to that. It's going to prompt them to create an account. It'll brand them to you, right? And then you'll see them in your command, because if they create an account, they automatically now have access and you will now see them in command, which is awesome. And once they start using the platform, all the properties they look at, you will see in command, right? So I'll see that Shelly was looking at properties in California. Well, I know that Shelly lives here. If she's looking at properties in California, what does that tell me? She's thinking about moving. So it prompts a conversation. So play with the search, right? Create saved listings, collections, right? See, I don't know, you guys can't really see this, I'm doing this, but do you notice that my display just changed? It went from like straight up and down to like some slanted down. So if you do like a 2-finger up swipe on your screen, it changes from flat to 2D. So actually when you zoom in, you can actually see elevations of building types.
David, I have a question.
Hold on 1 second and I will come to you, I promise. See how I now see the building elevations? It's just kind of a cool feature, right? So that's 2 fingers, swipe up, swipe down. That'll either flat or tilt the screen. Go ahead. Who had a question?
It's Marcia.
Hey, Marcia.
Hi there. Do these listings, do they mirror the MLS? Is it up to date?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Usually within 30 minutes of going live. And remember, this is all listings, right? Now, does it mean it's perfect? No. Just like every feed, sometimes feeds go wonky and need to be refreshed and reset. But yeah, they won't have coming soons because we can't syndicate coming soons. That's a MLS law. But all other listings will showcase active listings. And all, not just KW, right? This is all. So you're going to want to play with this. Get comfortable with it. Share it. And the more we talk about it, the more you'll get comfortable with it. But now you have the mobile app. Now, the other thing that I want to do before we end today is I want to show you how to launch your website. Okay, so I'm going to minimize my phone screen. I will hover and hang for any questions we have at the end of this, if necessary. So I want to go ahead and bring us back to Command again. So which all log into Command. Where's my screen go? There we go. So I'll let you back in Command. There we go. On the left-hand side, okay, at the bottom of Command, is that consumer button. Is everybody back in the Command? Awesome. I want you to go ahead and click on that consumer button. So then when you click on that, okay, yours is going to look a little different to mine. If your company has launched or your market center or somebody set you up to set up your website already, you're going to see a link right here, which will be your name.kw.com. It's going to be your website. Okay. If you haven't done that yet, or they didn't do it for you yet, we're going to do it right now. You're going to click Site and App Settings. Okay. And then once you click Site and App Settings, you're going to see this Learn More with Kelly guides. Does everybody see that? Click Site and App Settings. I'm going to come back out. I'm going to click on Consumer. On the upper right-hand side, it says Site and App Settings, and then Learn More with Kelly guides. Which guide would you like to complete? I want you to do Agent Site. Continue. It's going to launch a browser for you, right? So everybody should be on this screen right now. Tell me if you had trouble getting here. Consumer, right? Site and App Settings, launch Kelly guide. Select Agent Sites, and you should be on this screen. Is everybody here with me already?
Can you go back? I don't know where the agent, is it the agent site pages?
Yeah, so once again, top of my left, one more. No, don't apologize, you're fine. Well, it's a couple of clicks. So once you click on Consumer, on the upper right-hand side, it says Site and App Settings. Once you click on Site and App Settings, there should be Learn More with Kelly Guides. Click on Learn More with Kelly Guides, and then click on Agent Site, and that'll launch this development page. We good? All right. Click on Get Started, acknowledge and continue. So now what you're looking at now is what will be your website. Now, KW did a lot of research about websites, and I will tell you this. So some people want a much more robust and dynamic websites, and this is not that. Okay? It's going to be honest and clear with you guys. Consumers care for one thing and one thing only: search, the ability to search for properties. All they care about. So KW decided to keep their website fairly simple in what it does. So for those of you that want something more robust and more dynamic, over time we'll get there. But right now, this is one thing: searching properties for the most important things. Okay. So what you see on the left-hand side is actually your website. What you see on the right-hand side are some configuration changes that you can make. All right. And the first thing is going to say, what is your domain? I want you to put your name in here. David Donaldson. And then it'll be .kw.com. I want your name. EU. Okay, don't get fancy. EU. Even if you're on a team, put your name here. And your confirmed domain, you're going to claim. It's going to be a subdomain on kw.com. If you've done your marketing profile, okay, then all that information will publish. If you have not yet done your marketing profile, I encourage you to do that first because this will all auto-populate for you. Okay, so you're going to want to do your marketing profile first, then come back and do this. Okay, but all this information will publish automatically for you. Okay, you'll see your bio, your contact information, your market center. If there's any blanks, then you've done your profile, just fill in the blanks. That's okay. Each office independently and operated, right? Your brokerage ID number. Some of this is required information, some of this is not. So it'll be asterisk if it is mandatory. If you've added your picture, right, and you check that green button, that's when all this information pulls. If you've turned on that green button on your profile page, your logos will pop. You'll also see some example logos that will be there in lieu of your market center stuff. Social media, all this pulls. And then also, which is kind of cool, you'll see your mobile app link at the bottom. If you actually copy that, click copy that link. Okay. And you go to the top of your page and you click open a new tab and paste that link. What you actually see is that same QR code that, or not the QR code, the code that you were text messaging to your clients, right? This is your personal downloader page. So if you actually send this to somebody's desktop and they click on it, it'll prompt them to download your app in their store, which will brand you to them. So just kind of a cool little thing, but that's what your link is. So now, once all this information is complete and populated from your profile, click save and continue. Okay. Well, the next page is fairly basic. Either a red theme or a black theme. All the thing that really changes is some of your font coloring here. I keep mine on red. Now, in the middle of it says homepage text. Whatever you type here shows up here. That means you're changing what it says on the homepage of your website. Right? So you can type whatever you want. Copy what I have. I don't care. Doesn't really matter to me. Be you. Right? And then below that, you're going to see 5 pictures. The pictures that I have are different than the pictures that you have. Okay? You get 5 pictures that will cascade across on the front page of your website. Everybody has the same pictures unless you change them. Okay, so you have options to change them, right? I do recommend that you update them because everybody's got the same. So you can either A, use pictures that you have from previous listings, that be yours, right? And use high resolution photographs and upload them. This 1200 by 1200 is wrong because that implies it's a square. So that's texting that needs to be fixed on our side. But if you notice, this is actually 19 by 3. So it's actually like 2000 by like 500. So your photographer, just tell them, hey, I'm going to put these images on my website. So make sure they give you some high res photographs. And then you would just delete either one or all of the pictures that are already on your website by hitting the trash can. And then you would upload a new picture. So you can use your own personal photography, or you can go get other pictures. There's a website called Pexels, PEXELS.com. You can go download free pictures. That's where I've gotten most of mine from. There's a couple that I had from my listings. Most other ones are just these free stock images that I've gotten from that website. Download the high resolution, upload them to your website, but change them. That's important. Okay. Save and continue. Now you're going to see a page. And if you actually click this navigation button, you'll see that there are 3 pages that we provide for you. There's a company profile, there's an about me profile, and there's a contact us profile. The company profile is the one that usually trips people up the most because they don't know what to say. So what I tell people is this: while you're figuring out your business, what's best on this company profile page is to either A, keep it simple. Talk about KW or talk about your market center, or maybe talk about your business. If you're on a team, then put team information here. Your about me is going to pull your bio here. So don't rewrite your bio. You don't need to do that. The about me is going to pull your bio from the marketing profile. The company profile should either be about your team, your market center, or KW. You can really use it for anything you want, but most people have trouble thinking outside the box. Okay. I don't really don't want you to worry about SEO. They're not really powerful SEO tools. If you know about SEO, you can go here and play with this, but most agents, I don't want you to have to worry about this right now. As you're cleaning up your website, you can go back and talk to your market center tech trainer and say, hey, I need a little bit more clarity around my search engine. They can help you with that. I don't like to waste too much time here because it's too much of a rabbit hole for people. But your content is what edits your page. Right, so you're going to see your page header. You notice that as I change it, it's changing right on your page. You can change this background image by uploading a 2000 by 500 size image here, right? Then you have this intro paragraph. So this intro paragraph, which is right here, is up to 250 characters. Say whatever you need to say, but your market center, your business, KWI, whatever. Then you've got 2 additional paragraphs. And that allows you to type 500 characters. Right? Then another picture, which will change. So this is a square 360 by 360 box. Second paragraph, number 2. Another 500 characters. And a secondary image. Now, like I said, you can put whatever you want there. It can be neighborhoods, business, market center, KWI, doesn't matter. Or nothing at all. You can delete the page. I recommend you leverage whatever we're giving you, but sometimes people struggle with that. At the bottom of the page, what I like to do, it says footer headline. I'm going to give you a best practice here. This is what I like to do. I like to type in the word areas, service. That's what I like to put in there. Areas of service. See how that changed? And then this footer description, I'll probably type in the counties, Loudoun County. I would type in Prince William or Prince George's County. And I might type that out. Some people will put in zip codes. Okay. Some people might actually type in cities. No right or wrong here. I did spell Leesburg wrong. That's wrong. Some wrongs, I guess. But this is just me just trying to help you get your message out a little bit, right? And then you click continue, and I'll lock that page in. The next page will be your profile page will show up, which you can clean up instead of about me. I like to say, maybe about Dave. All right. Sorry, wrong spot. Content is what you want to edit, not SEO. Content about Dave. Right. Dave's a realtor, a real estate consultant, whatever. You'll notice that your bio is automatically going to pull from your profile page. There's really not much change here, and your content will be there. And then there's a contact us page. So basically, this is a page, and I'm going to show you a live one here in a minute, that the consumer would fill out to reach out to you. So you've got content, which is contact us, or hey, let's Zoom, or hey, let's have coffee, right? Intro paragraph, 250 characters, right? A little bit about you. You can't change these header boxes at all. This is their contact information. So there's nothing here to change. It's just there. But there's a message hint, which shows up right here. This is basically prompting them to give you information. What do they need to tell you so that when you call them back or reach out to them, it's valuable? So I'll just show you my page. So this is my live website. Give it a second to load so you can see what my contact page looks like. Nothing to hide. Come on, load up. My computer hasn't had enough coffee yet. I'm not sure what's going on there. Too many windows open, maybe. There we go. This is my website. So right here I have Let's Have Coffee, which is the page I was just telling you guys to launch, right? So here's my contact page, right? Here's my information about me. And then my message hint, tell me a little something about you, about what your needs are. So that when that information comes in, it'll come into my command. It'll come to my Command Mobile app, tell me that I have a new registration on my website, tell me that somebody's looking for something and reaching out for something. And it'll create a contact inside a command for me, and it'll come in as a lead. It'll come in as a lead because they're not in my database yet. If they're already in my database and they fill this in, it'll recognize the email address and marry this together. If it's a person that's in my database, but they register with a new or a different email than I have on file, it will create a new contact. That's the similarity, right? It looks at email addresses, it looks at phone numbers for commonalities for importing people. So if they log in and register with a different phone number or email address, it'll create a new contact. Same thing with the mobile app. If my consumer creates an account and they're already in my database and they create an account with the email address that I have on file, it'll tell me that my contact has downloaded the website. If Ted goes in and logs into my website or a mobile app, but uses a different email address that I had on file to create his mobile app account, it'll create Ted as a new contact. That's the kind of questions I get all the time. I'm like, hey, I have all these people downloading, but they're already in my database. Well, they're registering with different email addresses. So that's just, and then you'll just have to go in and do a little database cleanup. And that's kind of like how that happens on the back end. The last thing you're going to do, I'm not going to do it because my website is already running. You're going to click save and continue. And once you hit save and continue, your website's going to launch. Now, here's what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to think, I don't want to launch this yet because it's not finished. Nobody knows it's there. Right? Nobody knows your website is what it is because you haven't sent it to anybody yet. You launch, go in and edit it and play with it and modify it. Once you've launched it, you're going to see your domain here. You can go check out your page. And then from there, you can actually just go to your site and app settings. Right? Instead of launching, you're actually just going to go to site and agent pages, site pages here. Sorry. Wait a minute, what am I missing here? There we go. And you can add a page. So you'll see your pages that are already there. Right. I can click on my agent site pages where I'll see my full list of pages and I can click on edit. So once you've launched it, you can go back and edit those pages. You can edit your About Me page. You can edit your profile page. You can edit your Contact Me page. Or, and I don't do that in this class, but your Market Center will give you classes on adding additional pages, right? Adding a mobile link, adding a blog post, adding different things. I cover the core. Your Market Center Tech Trainers will cover the rest, either working one-on-one with you or through class that they have in their Market Center. So we've run a little bit long, but I appreciate the majority of you that stuck around with me today. And I just want to make sure that I cover everything I said I was going to cover today. So we covered all this information. We launched your website. What's next is what's important. Remember, I'm going to send you all this contact information. So your action steps for today. Download your mobile app. Download Command. Finish your marketing profile. Turn on the green button. Start thinking about your bio. Okay. I'm also, when I email you today, I'm also going to email you a spreadsheet. I want you to start putting people's names in that spreadsheet. You're going to names of the people that you're going to want in your database because we're going to do a bulk import for you. You're going to work on that a little bit tomorrow, but you're going to start filling out the spreadsheet, names, email addresses, home addresses. So think about where you have everything, sticky notes, tablets, Facebook, in your cell phone, wedding invitations, your high school alumni database, your Christmas card list, wherever you have all this contact information, you start pulling all that data into one spot, put it on your import form, right? And then we'll do it in class tomorrow, but also your Market Center Tech Trainer can help you and walk you through doing that so you can get all that data in your database. It's important that we do it from jump because once you start adding people, we can't overwrite people. So we want to load it with as much information as we can the first time, and then you can just edit the contact pages, but we can't do a reload on top of something that's been loaded, right? I can't launch Ted into my database and then update Ted's email address down the road on the spreadsheet and reload the spreadsheet. Doesn't work that way, not yet. One other thing that I'll recommend that you do, even though through KW you're going to have yourname.kw.com, I do recommend that you buy a custom domain name. So you go to GoDaddy.com, create an account, buy yourname.com. And we'll use that, and your Market Center Tech Trainer can help forward you that to your web address. And then later it'll be more helpful to you. But I really just want you guys to lock down your name. And if you have children, I recommend that you lock down your kids' names. right? I've owned my kids' domains for years. It doesn't do anything. They're just parked. But when they're playing and they're professional athletes, I'll be able to sell it back to them because it's the kind of guy I am. I'm going to sell back to my kids. Daniel gets where I'm going, right? So that there's value in that, right? Some of you have common names. There will be other realtors with your names. So if you own your likeness, it's best if you can get it. But when you create an account, don't buy anything else but the domain name for 1 year. Don't buy email addresses. Don't buy 5-year service subscriptions. Don't buy protection. Just pay the $12 and renew it every year. That's just best practice for me. All right. This is the domains. I'm going to give you all these domains. This will be in the email that I give you guys. Our sessions for the rest of the week will be tomorrow, contacts and smart plans. Wednesday will be designs and campaigns. Thursdays will be opportunities with Ted, and Friday will be compliance and DocuSign, where I will be back. I'll actually be out in the field the next 3 days, but Shirley and I will be teaching DocuSign on Friday. Is there any questions, anything I didn't cover that you guys were hoping to get out of day one? Anybody overwhelmed yet?
I just, I may be ultra dumb, but I went back and I tried to, I think, toggle that button, but it said that there was like missing information to do. And I'm wondering, like, does your profile have to be 100% complete before we'll allow you to link it to every other thing?
Yeah, because there are certain things on that page that are asterisk with a little red asterisk that might be missing, that it won't syndicate without.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll give it a second look. That's all I have.
Where's? All right. Well, I'm going to bounce. Like I said, tomorrow, 9 to 11, contacts and smart plans. Take those action steps, and everything you do to advance your business forward. But I congratulate you and thank you for joining me on day one. And in that email, I'll have the YouTube channel and Facebook pages where you guys can follow us and rewatch this video. All right. You have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
David,
Yeah.
hey, I sent you a message directly. It's
Yeah.
Marcia again.
Okay.
This is something not really class related, I guess, specific, but I got married right after my license was issued. And so my name changed.
Okay.
But my platform was originally set up with my former name, and
Okay.
not everything has transferred. And so when we were doing the app, it shows my name as Marcia King, but when I go into my profile, it says my former name, Marcia Lindsay.
So what I would recommend,
Leroy, but
okay, Scott was sent. I would check your MyKW profile. That was the first profile that we set up today, mykw.kw.com. And also I would have, if that is correct and it's still wrong, check with your MCA, because there may be an override on the back end through our platform that we call WinMore. That might need to be reset. And if that still doesn't do it, then we can escalate it to 3D Market Center Tech Trainer to KWRI to get that fixed. It's not uncommon, obviously, for people to have name changes. But that's not a problem. But sometimes when that does happen, it's not always as clear cut. Sometimes we just need to do a hard reset. So check the profile, then talk to the Market Center Tech Trainer or MCA. Just make sure everything is where it should be on the back end. And then if it all is, then they can send in a request to KWI to kind of give you a refresh.
okay. And then I do have one more quick little question. I always find that writing a bio is the most difficult and challenging thing to do.
Yeah.
Does KW offer anything to assist with that, or?
No, we don't. And typically what I tell you is this, and you're right, it is. What I have found in the most success for most people is that if you have a resume, start there and take that resume and kind of turn that into paragraph versus bullet form. And don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Remember, think about the relationship side of things and highlight those things that we talked about, where you're from, what your passions are, what you're involved with. People are sensitive to sharing too much information. I get that too. Whatever you're comfortable with, you're just trying to establish a connection with somebody that might be reading that profile online. That's all it is. But keep it simple, right? We've all heard that saying, right?
All right. Well, I appreciate this. I am overwhelmed, but I got my notes, so I'll do my
Give
homework.
yourself time. You have to allow yourself time or otherwise you will be overwhelmed. Take the time to do it. While we teach it in a week because we want everybody to have as much information. And really the most important things that I will tell you teeing this up is learning how to self-advocate. Knowing where to get the information is more important than what I'm actually training you to do this week. Knowing where to get the information and building your database are the two most important things that you will get out of this class this week. And then everything else can be added on later. And that's why I also want to introduce you to Market Center Tech Trainers, because you're going to have lots of questions and they're going to be a person that once you finish this, that you're going to go talk to them directly. What Market Center are you in, Marcia?
420, Aspirin with Catherine.
Yeah, perfect. So you've got Catherine there, so she'll see you through, right? Because then here's what's valuable. Like we have a lot of times where people come to us and they haven't attended classes, and that's hard because then they're looking for us to train them. We want you to self-advocate and we'll fill in the gaps. But you've got a fantastic resource for her as your Market Center Tech Trainer and Christy as a PC coach that you're, and Leland as your TL, you're going to have a really successful career because you've got a great leadership team.
Definitely that. And I think for me, like I said, I've just had a lot of hiccups with my name change and getting my license with COVID and everything. It was just, I'm almost a year into this. Okay. So it's been a little challenging, but.
Well, if for some reason none of that gets accomplished through the challenge that I just directed you, email me, okay, saying, hey, we've done this, this, and this, and I still can't get it fixed, then there are some things that I can do, but we got to, unfortunately, have to check some boxes up front first to say that we did this.
Okay. All right.
But
I'll do that.
If you need anything beyond that, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys all later.
See you tomorrow.